welcome all to this session on capital markets. I welcome Dr. Srinivas and all the participants for taking time off and being here today. Now, I would be doing a small introduction of Dr. Srinivas. So, Dr. Aditya Srinivas is a capital market and financial markets professional with specialization in macroeconomics and fundamental research. He is the Chief Operating Officer of Bombay Stock Exchange Brokers Forum. He has 17 years of corporate experience in the field of financial services with complete knowledge about all the segments of the capital markets and financial products. We are fortunate to have him with us conducting these programs, these capital markets webinar for the past more than 10 days now. So today we have a session on gold versus equity as an asset class. And Dr. Srinivas, I invite you to take over the session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for giving me this opportunity. Assalamu alaikum to all my friends. Today's topic, friends, is very interesting. Basically, it is gold versus equity. So we will try to understand why these gold, and that is these both asset class, gold and equity, both should be there in your portfolio, and how to buy gold. So that also I will clarify. So just let me share my PPT and then we will go ahead. Gold is considered, na? See, gold has been an investment option in India, at least in India, for many ages, for the simple reason that it is linked with our belief system also. The gold is relatively linked with our belief system. For example, people accumulate gold with a simple objective that in case of any financial emergency which may arise, you always rely upon gold as lender of the last resort. You can sell it at any point of time because after cash, it is the most liquid asset. Correct. See, we may have 1 crore rupees bungalow, we may have a 5 crore rupees insurance policy, but can we dispose it off immediately? Can we convert it into cash? No, it takes a lot of time to sell those assets. Whereas in case of gold, the beauty is that it gets converted into cash immediately and even at midnight. So that is the reason, friends, that gold occupies a very, very important and a vital place. Especially in India, if we see, since it is linked with our basically belief system, whenever Diwali, Dhanteras and other things come, you will always find gold as an asset class rising. Correct, because demand basically goes up. See, during even Diwali, Dhanteras, those festival season when it comes, a lot of people buy gold as an auspicious thing. See, whether it is there or not, it's always a debatable thing, but still people buy it, and that is one of the reasons that in the demand of gold in India is always high. In fact, we import one of the highest quantities of gold in the world. Now, as far as gold as an asset class is concerned, friends, always remember gold behaves in a very typical way. That means it has inverse relationship with three things: stock market, world economic data, and US economy. So whenever stock markets are down, you will typically find gold prices rising. Whenever there is a global economic problem, like we had global financial crisis of 2008, we had US China trade war 2018, or the COVID-19. If you see, in all these times, the economic data of the world was definitely weak, and as a result you will find gold prices going up. And third is US economy. Whenever there is a bad news from USA, gold prices will always rise. So always remember that gold has inverse relationship with three things: stock market, world economic data, and US economy. So this is something you have to keep it in mind. It always has an inverse relationship with these three factors. If you see, basically, how did gold come into limelight? See, in 2007, before global financial crisis hit the world, gold was never considered as an investment asset class, and it was just lying idle. But basically what has happened is that after the 2008 global financial crisis, after 2008 global financial crisis, you will see that the price of gold from 9,000 rupees per 10 grams went to 33,000 rupees per 10 grams. So basically it skyrocketed and gave more than 300% return. Now always remember one reason for this, why in 2008 suddenly it came into limelight. See, there are global central banks. As we have RBI, every country has its own RBI. So typically what happens is that whenever we have basically this central banks all over the world, they always try to accumulate two assets. One is US dollar and one is gold, for the simple reason that both of these asset classes, US dollar and gold, are globally accepted. In fact, IMF and World Bank do accept them. So the point here is that in 2008 global financial crisis, when there was complete mess in US dollar, US economy was in total mess, every central bank started buying gold, and as a result gold started rising. Correct, that is something very very critical and important. Gold started rising heavily. So because of that particular reason, this thing has happened. Correct, this primarily thing has happened. So that is why gold versus equity plays a very very critical role, friends. Gold started going up because US dollar was in a mess. See, this slide is the thumb rule for understanding behavior of gold. See, whenever stock market crashes, you will find gold prices rising. When IMF or World Bank says that world economy is weak, gold prices will rise. When US data is weak, gold prices will rise. So always remember that in short, any bad news in the world economy is a good news for gold, and any good news in the world economy is a bad news for gold. This is something we have to keep it in mind. Correct, this is something very vital. So if there is a problem at the global level, you will find gold prices going up like anything, and at the global level if things are okay, then gold prices will drastically come down. As I told you, friends, that India imports huge quantity of gold. In fact, we import 850 tons of gold every year. Our households are having around 25,000 tons of gold. So gold is the second largest item in our balance of payment after crude oil. So you can imagine, friends, that if we sell out this gold, just imagine we can open 10 to 15 Reliance size companies, which can create so much of employment in the economy. So that is why holding of gold as an asset class, frankly speaking, is not that productive from an economic perspective. In 2015, when Chinese crisis came to light, you will find that gold prices from 25,000 rupees per 10 grams, it went to 29,000 rupees per 10 grams. Correct. It drastically went up. But there again, BSC Sensex from 30,000 came down to 26,000. I have a typical slide which will clearly give you with examples okay, how gold and equity moves in inverse relation. See, the logic here is always remember that whenever there is a problem at the global level, it can be economic recession, it can be like a trade war between US and China, it could be actual war between two nations. So in that case, what happens is the institutional investors, again I repeat, the institutional investors will withdraw money from other asset classes. They will withdraw money from other asset class and start buying gold, and that is the reason gold always rallies. So this is something you have to keep it in mind. Correct, this point is something very vital. So it always moves in the inverse direction. See, is gold productive? Frankly speaking, no. See, gold is not productive as money gets basically blocked in gold. Correct. Always remember, gold is not a productive instrument. So money basically gets blocked in that. See, on the other hand, if you put money in equities or fixed deposits, for example, if I walk into a bank and I put 1 lakh rupee as FD, so what will happen is that bank will give me say 5.5% interest rate. But more importantly, bank will use my 1 lakh rupee. It will give loan to some needy person. It can be a student who will take an educational loan, will study, and will become productive for the economy. So always remember that money circulates in equities, fixed deposits, and other things. Whereas in case of gold, what will happen? Either I will wear it as a ring or I will put it in locker. It does not circulate. So that is the main problem with gold. Money gets blocked. If you see last 100 years return of gold, it is only 6%. Last 40 years, that means if you compare it with basically the formation of BSC Sensex, that is from 1979 till date, if you see this 40 years return, then in that case BSC Sensex give a return of 16.5%, that is CAGR. Gold has given a return of around 9 to 10%, but this is also because gold quadrupled during 2008 global financial crisis, and again it gave more than 100% return during basically this COVID-19. See, before COVID started, gold was at 28,000 rupees per 10 grams. Correct. In 2018, between US China trade war. After that, it skyrocketed and went to 57,000 rupees per 10 grams. So please understand that gold will always perform when there is a problem at the global level. Now, this slide is the most important one, friends. See, it statistically and date-wise basically shows you the inverse relationship between both these asset classes. See, during 2008 global financial crisis, BSE Sensex, that is our main index, crashed by 52%. It gave a negative return, and from 21,000, it crashed to 7697. So you can see a fall of 14,000 points. Whereas during the same period, gold skyrocketed and gave more than 300% plus returns from 9,000 rupees to 33,000 rupees. So always remember that it was because of this global financial crisis that gold suddenly came into limelight, and all investment experts started considering it as an investment asset class. But yes, in the current scenario, it does have become an investment asset class. 2015, if we talk of China crisis, then in that case, again, when there was global commodity crash, you will find BSE Sensex, it reduced from 30,000 to 26,000, whereas gold went up from 25,000 to 29,000. So again, basically Sensex came down and gold went up. This was because that China had poor economic data. So when China, which is the second largest economy in the world after USA, when it slows down, it was an indicator that commodities would crash, commodity prices, commodity cycles, and the world GDP would be slow. So in that case, again, institutional investors, they pulled out money from other asset classes and they kept in gold. Then in 2016, during the Brexit event, when the first time Brexit was announced, Brexit means exit of UK from this thing, European Union. So when Brexit was announced, in one day you will find that BSE crashed by 1,000 points, whereas gold went up by 5%. Correct? BSE crashed by 1,000 points and gold went up by 5%. So there also this particular thing has happened. And finally, if you take 2018 US-China trade war, if you take this US-China trade war, in that case also, gold from 28,000 rupees per 10 grams went to 40,000 rupees per 10 grams. Whereas during that time, the BSE return was hardly 5.6%. So always remember that in all these four instances, you will find that basically Sensex went up like any, Sensex came down like anything, and gold went up like anything. So they both typically have an inverse relationship, friends. If you see during COVID-19 also, gold reached 57,000 rupees per 10 grams. Gold reached to the all-time high. So it was at highest price at that time. Why? For the simple reason that because there was COVID, the world economy was under lockdown. So obviously it was clear that the world economic data would crash out. So institutional investors, again, they withdraw money and they invested in gold. In fact, in March 2020, exactly 1 year before, in March 2020, in 1 month, BSE Sensex had crashed from 42,000 to 25,600 because globally there was lockdown and other things. Whereas during the same time, gold touched 50,000 rupees per 10 grams, and after that it went even to 57,000 rupees per 10 grams. But now you can clearly see, friends, basically what has happened is what has happened is that basically even in the current scenario, if you see the day vaccination started, from 57,000 it crashed to 50,000, and right now it is at, if I'm not wrong, 46,000 or 45,000. So basically from 57,000 it has already lost 11,000 rupees because vaccination has started globally and things are improving. Believe me, friends, the day this World Health Organization says that COVID is over, we will find gold below 40,000 also. Always remember, when the world economy is passing through a normal phase, gold will never give returns. Gold always gives returns when there is a problem at the global level. As I just mentioned, in March 2020, FIIs pulled out 61,000 crore rupees from Indian stock market because of this global lockdown and other things. So as a result, the Sensex crashed from 42,000 to 25,600 levels, and gold again rose to 50,000 rupees per 10 grams and then made an all-time high of 57,000. So again, COVID-19 was a clear proof that how basically gold and equities, they reacted opposite to each other. As I told you friends, that if you compare long-term return, if you compare of last 40 years, then basically gold gave just 9 to 10%, whereas basically equity markets gave primarily 16%. So one thing is clear friends, that in the long term, you cannot basically beat equities. That is for sure enough. Should you have an exposure in gold? Yes, the answer is yes, friends. In spite of all this, you should have at least 10% exposure of your overall investments into gold also. But please understand here, I would like to clarify, we are talking of buying gold ETF units, not physical gold. See, physical gold, what will happen is when you buy physical gold, you making charges will be added, and when you sell physical gold, making charges would be deducted, so you will typically incur a loss. So it is better that you buy basically gold ETF is listed on BSE. And see, the here logic is very simple. See, suppose if you buy 10 grams physical gold, it is 46,000 rupees. We take taking the current example. If you buy 1 gram physical gold, obviously you have to pay 4,600, correct? But see the difference. If you buy 100 units of HDFC Gold ETF, it is currently at around 39 rupees. So 39 into 100 units is equal to 1 gram. So here you are buying the same 1 gram gold at only 3,900 rupees, and it directly comes to your demat account. Now see, why is this benefit of 700 rupees? For the simple reason that when you buy gold ETF, it is in demat form. So it will directly come in your demat account only, correct? It will directly come in your demat account, correct? That is something you have to keep it in mind. So basically what will happen, that here you are paying 3,900 as compared to 4,600 what you would have paid if you bought physical gold. Now once you accumulate say 10,000 units of gold ETF, so you are accumulating 100 grams gold worth 3,90,000, correct? If you bought same 100 grams gold in physical, you would have paid 4,60,000. So this difference is your profit, number one. Second, you can always sell these units and add the physical difference and buy actual pure brick of 999.9. So always remember that when you are buying gold, you buy first ETF and then convert it into physical gold, and that too in the brick form. That is always more advisable, friends, and more what I can say safe from a purity perspective, and you can sell it any point at any time. So that is why you should have some exposure to gold ETF also. See, when will gold not perform? Now, that is also important to understand. See, always remember, gold is seen as a safe haven. So it will perform only when things are not well at the global level. If things are well at the global level, global economy is good, things are settled, then in that particular case, so if world economy is doing good, gold prices will basically come down. Always remember that we will see that when vaccination takes a full swing, when vaccination is in full swing and COVID slowly goes out, you will find basically gold prices crashing like anything. So that is something you have to keep it in mind. Yes, that is something very important. Then a question may come to your mind, okay, why gold and equities both went up during COVID-19? See, after the crash of March, then slowly and gradually both started rising. The reason was, see, US Federal Reserve, again, US obviously the epicenter, see, US Federal Reserve announced an economic package of $2.5 trillion. Now, this package was even larger than what was announced during basically they had announced an economic package of $2.5 trillion. The simple reason was because at that time this package was even bigger than what they had announced in 2008 global financial crisis, which was only $1 trillion. So obviously, when there is so much of huge liquidity, this liquidity from US banks finally went to emerging markets like Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Correct? They went to all these economies, and since huge liquidity was there, obviously it went to both asset classes, equities also and gold also. And that is why, friends, normally they tend to have an inverse relation, but this time you found both of them rising for the simple reason that there was too much of liquidity. Now, currently, if you see, as globally liquidity is reducing, you are finding equity market still sustaining, but gold gradually coming down. Correct. So that is something you have to keep it in mind. So with this, friends, I would like to conclude my part of presentation. So in conclusion, I would like to say one thing, that gold and equity both should be there in your portfolio. You can buy equities on a monthly basis. Similarly, you can buy gold ETF also on a monthly basis. That would be a more best option for you to create good wealth for you in the long term. So with this, friends, I complete my part, and now we can go for question answer session.
Thank you, Dr. Srinivas. Appreciate your presentation and the explanation of the various what you call complex issues here. So, participants, I can see only one question from Abu Talha. Uh, is that all of you all have understood the presentation and the subject very well? No one has any query? Well, let's begin with Abu Talha Sahab, and he wants to know, in future stock market will go up or down. How to analyze the market, whether it will go up or down? What is the parameter to analyze? And
Okay.
how can we say market is going up or down? Please explain completely.
Sure, sure. See, Abu sir, basically, please understand. See, markets are affected by global macroeconomic factor. Now, when I use the word global macroeconomic factor, it basically refers to what happens in four countries. See, four things you have to keep it in track: US, Europe, China, and Japan. For the simple reason that basically these four economies, they contribute 61%. They contribute to the world GDP. They contribute 61% to the world GDP. Now, out of these four also, US and China are the biggest one. US economy is basically $21 trillion and China is $14 trillion. So always remember that any news which comes from China and US is bound to affect global stock markets. As far as, sir, India is concerned, as far as our stock market is concerned, you will be surprised to know that out of total foreign money, 50%, basically 50% comes from USA and 30% comes from Europe. So in that particular case, 80% of our total foreign inflows come from these two areas. So here we have to understand that in that particular case, sir, when this thing whenever there is some positive news from US and Europe or China, basically money comes in and our stock markets rally. On the other hand, whenever there is a negative news coming from these economies, we basically falter and we go down. So that is something we have to keep it in mind. Correct, that point is something very critical and very important.
Thanks very much, sir. So, there's an anonymous attendee who wants to know what is the advantage or disadvantage about buying land, about real estate. He's
See,
asking.
basically, yes. See, as far as, sir, I will explain you from a normal perspective. Both areas I will cover. See, basically, real estate. Now, please understand that if you are talking from a home loan, if you want to take, yes, it is a very good time because interest rates are drastically low. But please understand that if you buy a real estate property, a house property, please don't buy it from an investment perspective, because that whole phase, okay, where I buy a flat at 20 lakhs and sell at 30 lakhs, it will work. No, that won't work. Trust me, because of two reasons. The supply is huge. There is immense supply. so many new projects coming, so it is very difficult to basically sell that particular second hand house, so it will be very difficult. On the other hand, if you are buying land, obviously buying land is far better proposition in terms of investment opportunity. You can definitely buy land, but please be very clear in terms of title and other things, because typically what happens is, in case of land, the title clearance, whether it is an agriculture land, non-agriculture, all those things also does matter a lot. So please understand that you need to be very cautious. So when you are buying this particular thing, land for investment, it is a good thing, but one thing is very clear: you need to be very very cautious about the legal formalities. So keep that particular point in mind.
Thank you, Dr. Srinivas. Now, yesterday, if you remember, Mr. Tausif Sayed had mentioned about the closure of trading window. He is basically talking about some letter he received from Wipro about board meeting. And it says the financial results would be approved by the board of directors on the evening of April 15, 2021. We further informed that the trading window for dealing in the securities of the company has been closed from March 16, 2021 till the close of trading hours of April 17, 2021.
Oh, sir. Okay, fine, fine. Sir, this is basically something, it is an information. See, please understand that the board of directors will be the first to know what is there in the results, correct? So basically, if they start buying shares themselves only, so this closure of trading window basically means that during this time frame, the board of directors won't be in a position to buy any shares. Otherwise, it results to insider trading and it is a violation. So it basically refers to that. As far as a common man retail investor is concerned, there is nothing like this closure of trading window. Once the stock is listed, you can buy and sell during the whole year. So it is a basic restriction for the board of directors and for the people who have a more access to information by the virtue of their position.
Right. Thanks very much for that clarification.
Getting it, sir?
Right, right. So there is another query from
Yes.
Mohammad Imran Khan. He wants to know how to buy gold ETF. Can you please provide the steps for buying it, and will it be brought from the equity
Okay, fine.
market or commodity
Sure,
market?
sure.
And finally, what is the full form of ETF?
Okay. Basically, ETF stands for Exchange Traded Fund. ETF is Exchange Traded Fund. It is nothing but a mutual fund only, a mutual fund which is listed in equity market. So the process is very simple. You need to have your normal demat and trading account which you use for buying shares. In the same account, basically, this will also come. This gold units will also, when you buy this ETF, it will directly come in that same demat account, correct? And you are buying from the same trading account also. I regularly do this, to be very frank with you. This is really one of the very good options of accumulating gold rather than buying physical gold. So it is very simple. Again, I repeat, you just need to have your normal trading and demat account with a broker, and in that same account where you are buying equity shares, you can buy this gold ETF. And gold ETF is nothing but it is a mutual fund which is listed on the stock market, and ETF stands for Exchange Traded Fund.
Thank you, sir. So we have Mr. Naved Akram who wants to know, can cryptocurrency become asset class and replace gold?
No, no, never. Basically, please understand, cryptocurrency is not an asset class. It's a Ponzi scheme. And what my understanding is basically is that as far as cryptocurrencies is concerned, government is on the verge of banning it. Trust me, it's on the verge of banning it. And they are very clear that if there has to be a digital currency, it will be only the one which is approved by RBI and backed by RBI. See, please understand, friends, that you cannot have a currency whose value was $20,000 2 months back and now it is at $60,000. First of all, do you agree this is a currency? Obviously not. How can a currency be so volatile? One. Second, who is backing that currency? See, when we take an example. See, I give you 100 rupee note. Why will you accept it? Because it is guaranteed by RBI. The sovereign has a signature on it. Who has signed cryptocurrency? So it is nothing but, frankly, what my understanding goes, it's a Ponzi scheme. The day bubble bursts, lot of people will be in trouble. So please avoid it because it is really in the gray area of the regulator.
Right. Thank you very much once again. The next one is from Mr. Naseem. He wants to know,
Yes.
please explain the RBI policy of keeping and buying the gold in the context of Indian economy.
See, basically every country, sir, every central bank will keep two reserves, gold and US dollar, for the simple reason that when we say, see, we take a simple example. When I say that India has a foreign exchange reserve of $490 billion. So what exactly do we mean by this foreign exchange reserve? So this foreign exchange reserve primarily comprises of three things. Number one, basket of currency, which includes dollar, yen, pound, euro. That is number one. Number two, actual gold deposits, how much gold the country has. And third is basically FDR. SDR stands for special drawing rights, which is a paperless currency issued by IMF, uh, but in lieu of what gold you have deposited with IMF. So that is why RBI has to maintain certain amount of gold. The reason why India has so much of gold is because Indians buy gold, and gold can be imported. See, it is a natural commodity given by nature. We can neither make gold nor mint it. You can only dig it out from the gold mines. So that is the reason RBI is forced to import gold. See, if you recollect, government had come with a gold deposit scheme where you can go to an approved bank, you can deposit your jewelry and you will get 2.5% interest on that. But the condition was that the jewelry will be melted into in the form of pure gold. Two reasons why the scheme failed. One, people did not like that the jewelry form was lost. And second, people always had a doubt that if you go and deposit jewelry, you are bound to get an income tax query that from where have you bought all this. So because of those two fears, that scheme never worked. Otherwise, the objective of that scheme was this only, to reduce the import of gold.
Thank you, sir. So another one from Mr. Tosif Sayed. He wants to know how many type of gold ETFs are there, and can these be studied from moneycontrol.com?
Yes, you can study it from there also. You can study it from valueresearchonline.com also, because gold ETF is nothing but a scheme of mutual funds, and almost many mutual funds have a gold ETF. So that can be very well compared. Even if you Google it, you will get the names of all ETF schemes.
Thank you very much. Another one from Mr. Aruf Aftab. He wants to know, is the gold price affecting the USD rate?
Yes, to an extent. See, please understand that dollar and gold, they move in opposite direction. So the more dollar becomes strong, if the more dollar is strong, US economy is good, you will find gold basically going down. On the other hand, whenever there is a problem in US dollar, there is a problem with US economy, you will find gold prices going up. So it definitely has a relationship.
Right. Now, there is this question which is what you call away from the subject today. Mr. Naved Akram wants to know, after
Yes.
an IPO is launched and shares
Mhm.
are sold in primary markets, how does company benefit, or does it benefit or lose from by
The
share
share,
price fluctuation?
okay. See, Naved sir, please understand. See, when a company gets listed on BSE or NSE, what happens is there is a market capitalization of the company. Market capitalization means number of shares traded multiplied by market price. So here, the more share price goes up, the more is the market value, market capitalization. The more is the market capitalization, the more is the overall enterprise value of the company, and company's bargaining position with respect to bank and financial institution goes up like anything. So that is how companies benefit. The reverse is also true. If the share price crashes and basically stocks keeps going down, then obviously the value of the company will go down. Correct. The market cap will go down. So in that case, no longer the company will be in a commanding position. So in either way, basically it affects it.
Right. Thank you very much. There's another one from Mohammed Wasi. He wants to know, how can we invest in foreign stock market? Is there some app or some website from where to invest?
See, Mohammed sir, basically, see, if you want to invest in foreign stock markets, it is nothing but you will have to register yourself with basically this thing. What I can say, you can register yourself with a foreign broker. If I am not wrong, ICICI Securities and HDFC Securities do offer these platforms. You will have to contact your relationship manager, or if you contact those people in the securities market, those platforms give you this facility of buying. But I would rather say, rather than buying direct stocks, it is better you buy an international mutual fund. For example, in ICICI, there is a US Opportunities Fund scheme. Then there is a fund known as Nasdaq 100. Then that is in Motilal Oswal. And then there is a fund in Edelweiss Mutual Fund called as Greater China Fund. So I would suggest it is better we invest in these funds, because here there is no regulatory approval and other things. Plus, you can do an SIP also, and the minimum ticket size is only 5,000 rupees. So that is more affordable also.
Thank you, sir. There's one from an anonymous attendee. He wants to know how about silver in comparison with
To
gold.
gold. See, basically gold and silver typically go in the same direction. Obviously, the extent of volatility is different, but basically if gold is rising, silver will also typically rise. So they both normally have a very strong positive correlation.
Right. Thank you very much. So there's another one from Mohammad Imran Khan. He wants to know uh, there are three markets: based liquidity, commodity, and financial market. You have informed us about equity and commodity. Can you please briefly tell us about the financial market, how it works, how to trade in it, etc.?
See, basically, financial market is a broad term. If you want to trade, we have only three options: equity market, commodity, and basically currency market. Financial market is a term used which collectively refers to all these markets. And basically, financial market also includes RBI and our banking system and financial institutions also. So, financial market is a broad term. There is no as such market in which you can trade like equity and commodity. It's a broad term describing all this together.
Right. I think what he meant was about the currency market. So
Yes, sir. Yes.
can you just
Yes.
yeah.
See, currency market again is same like what we talked about equity and equity derivatives or commodity derivatives. Basically, in currency market, it is again a cash settled market. So there is no physical buy and sell of currency. It is simple. If you feel that Indian rupee will depreciate, that is example from 73. If you feel it will go to 74, you will buy the rupee contract. And if it goes from 73 to 74, you make a profit. On the other hand, if you feel that rupee will appreciate, then you will short at 74 and buy at 70.
Thank you, sir. The next one we have from an anonymous attendee is: can we invest in foreign currency in same way as we are investing in equity? Is it beneficial to invest in foreign currency?
See, as far as my knowledge goes, the holding of foreign currency without proper authorization is illegal. Number one. And see, if you want to hold, it is always better to hold only US dollar, because that's a currency which is globally accepted. But there also again we need to check on rules. How much limit is there to hold foreign currency? I don't think one can hold more than 5,000 US dollars, to the best of my knowledge.
All right. Thank you very much. Right, Tausif Sayed wants to know, can ETF be converted to physical form and then to gold break? How ETF is converted to physical form?
See, it is very simple, sir. Basically, ETF. See, as I told you, that there is the next question is related to that only. See, there is HDFC Gold ETF. Correct? We take a simple example. HDFC Gold ETF. Now, if I accumulate 10,000 units of that at 39 rupees, what is how much money I am investing? 3,90,000. Correct? Now, these 10,000 units of gold ETF, the day I sell, suppose the rate is 41 rupees. So how much payout I will get from the stock market? I will get a payout check of 4,10,000 rupees. Suppose gold is at 4,40,000, so I add 30,000 from my pocket and I convert. I buy a complete 999.9 physical brick. So that is how you convert basically these gold ETF units into actual physical gold. But when I say physical gold, it is referring to a brick, which is far more a better proposition rather than buying other things. That is jewelry. Jewelry is of no use.
Right. Thank you very much. So is there any silver ETF too?
No. There is no silver ETF. It is gold ETF.
Okay, very much. Thank you. So Mohammed Wasi wants to know, can you please repeat the name of the mutual fund name for foreign market? I think you.
Yes, see, there are three basically foreign mutual funds. ICICI US Opportunity Fund. Then Motilal Oswal Nasdaq 100 Fund. And third is Edelweiss Greater China Fund. These three are very good.
Thanks very much. The last question of the day, Mr. Maruf Hafta wants to know, is USA dollar value change, does the USA dollar value change according to gold prices?
See, as I told you, sir, it does not change according to gold prices. Gold prices change according to US dollar. See, dollar is an independent this thing. Correct. Dollar is an independent variable Gold is a dependent variable. So if US economy is doing well, in that case, dollar will become more strong.
Right. Thank you very much, Dr. Srinivas. That's all we have for the day.
Yes, yes.
Thanks for taking your time out and being here with us. Now, tomorrow is the last day of our capital markets
Correct.
long session that we had, 10 sessions altogether.
Yes, sir.
And the session will be investing in these challenging times.
Correct, correct.
So this is the topic for tomorrow. I think all the participants should invite their friends and other contacts also to attend.
Correct.
So this will be an important session for tomorrow. So I request all of you to kindly inform your friends and contacts to attend the live session tomorrow. So
Sure, sir, sure.
Right. Thank you once again, Dr. Srivas, for being with us. Thanks for the opportunity for.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Please have a nice evening, and then we hope to see you tomorrow.
Sure, sir. Sure. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Sir, with your permission, see, basically, I'm working on some noble projects. It has nothing to do with any commercial part. What I have done in basically here in Surat, because I'm basically a native of Surat, so I was associated with a Yatim Khana, which has basically around 100 orphans. Earlier, the figure was 180, but unfortunately, because of this COVID mess and other things, the figure got down.
Right.
So every week, twice I go there, feed the children. Then I'm also associated with the old age home, where there are 60 elderly people. So basically, what I am planning I have formed the concept of change agent. The logic is that we should bring some small positive change in the lives of underprivileged, basically orphans, old people. Correct.
Very nice.
So basically, in tomorrow's session, I would just request give me last 5 minutes so that those who have similar kind of mindset can get connected with me, and whatever small things we can do for them. Because right now I am doing it from my personal income. Correct. But if I want to scale it up, obviously I need more hands. The one person cannot do much. So I just wanted to share this noble thought. If you are comfortable, we can just share it with the participants.
No, perfectly fine, Dr. Srinivas. It's a very noble thing that you're doing, and it will be nice to tell the participants, because AMP is also an organization
which
works for social development.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Right. We work in the education and the empowerment domain. So it will be nice for you to explain to the participants, and please go ahead.
Sure, sir. Sure. Thank you so much for your support, sir. Thank you.
Pleasure.